It has been said that a well-kept lawn makes any garden beautiful. Well, we all agree with that. If you have any difficulty with your own, or you contemplate making a new one, let George Gillard help you.
The cheapest way to make a lawn is from seed, and the best times of the year for sowing are during the autumn or spring, providing there is no fear of frost and a reasonable amount of rain is likely. Usually, the autumn is preferred because the soil is still warm for the grass to grow quickly. If we have to sow in the spring and the weather becomes very hot and dry, the grass can suffer because it hasn't formed a strong root system, and regular applications of water would have to be given as a fine spray. Preparation of the ground, which includes draining, digging and leveling, should be completed well before sowing to give the soil a chance to settle. Ideally, the ground should then be left fallow for about 2 months so that dormant weed seeds may germinate and be killed by using a weed killer containing paraquat. Finally, a pre-seeding based fertilizer with a high phosphate content to stimulate root growth should be applied at the rate recommended by the manufacturers and rake the dressing into the soil. I have found that the old wooden hay rake is just right for this, and if the rake is turned upside down, using the flat surface, you can level out the soil far better than by using an iron rake. Now a word about the lawn seed. Do not buy a cheap mixture as you cannot improve its quality. The type of seed used is best left to an expert, and do buy it from a reputable firm. An easy way of applying the seed is to use a fertilizer distributor which will put down seed at the rate of 2 ounces per square yard, which in my opinion is the correct amount. After sowing, rake lightly with the wooden rake, and if the seed has not been treated with a bird repellent, find out about this when you buy it, a bird scaring device will have to be used. Depending on weather conditions, germination will take between 14 and 21 days. When the grass has grown to about 2 to 3 inches high, the lawn may be given its first cut, but avoid damp conditions. Always use a mowing machine with a really sharp blade and make sure it is set at maximum height for this first cut. Making a lawn from turf costs quite a lot more than one from seed, and the further trouble is unless you obtain turfs from a reliable source, they may contain very coarse grass and many weeds. Turf laying can commence during the autumn and carry on until the weather gets too bad. An alternative is late March to May. Most turfs are cut 3 feet by 1 foot, and when they have been laid, lightly ram them down so that they will knit to the surface. Finally, any joins or small holes in the turf may be filled with sifted soil. A well-kept lawn can make the ordinary garden seem beautiful, but it will not look after itself, and any neglect will soon show up, so regular maintenance is essential. This includes feeding, and the best way to do this is to use a lawn fertilizer in March or April at the rate of 2 ounces per square yard, and again at the end of the summer when the ground is moist. But if necessary, extra dressings may be given in the summer. Mowing. Well, this wants doing twice a week in the height of the growing season, and you can do more to maintain a good lawn by regular mowing than by anything else. Don't cut it too low, especially in hot weather. And then there's the edges. Keep these trimmed as regular as possible. This will make all the difference to the appearance of the lawn and borders. Weeds in the lawn can be controlled by a selective weed killer, which is put on in liquid form using a water can with a fine rose, or a plastic attachment which will fit onto the can. Mow the lawn a few days before putting the weed killer on, and then leave for 2 or 3 days to allow the weeds to take it in. Some will be killed by 1 treatment. Others may require 2 or 3 at 10 to 21 day intervals. Weed killers should not be used for at least 3 months after sowing the new lawn, and they mustn't get onto the flower border. Moss is often a real nuisance, and it's usually found where conditions are too shady or the surface of the lawn is badly drained. This can be controlled by mercurized lawn sand. Kill the moss first, then use a wire-type rake to get rid of the dead material. Improve the drainage by spiking with a special tool or a hollow-tine garden fork to a depth of 4 inches and the hose approximately 4 inches apart. This will encourage the growth of the fine grasses. The best time to do this is in the autumn. Don't think that the lawn is the easy part of the garden, but it's well worth the trouble whether you want it as a setting for the flowers or an area for the children to play on.
Thank you, George Gillard.